waiting. If you want to be successful, the very first thing you must stop doing is blaming others. Blame is a thief. It robs you of power, of focus, of ownership, waiting. As long as someone else is responsible for your problems, someone else controls the solution, waiting. But the moment you accept full responsibility for your life, your choices, your habits, your results, that's the moment everything begins to shift, waiting. You can't change the weather, the economy, or your upbringing, but you can change you. And when you change, everything around you changes, waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. People waste years thinking, once I have more time, once I feel ready, waiting, once the stars align. No, the successful don't wait, they move. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates progress, waiting. If you wait for the right mood or the right timing, life will leave you behind. Start now with what you have, right where you are, waiting. Success is not about conditions. It's about decisions. Another trap you must avoid is keeping the wrong company, waiting. If you surround yourself with people who complain, gossip, and settle, you will begin to adopt their standards. Your environment is stronger than your willpower, waiting. Find people who challenge you, who talk about ideas instead of problems, who live with purpose. Success is contagious, but so is mediocrity, waiting. Choose your circle like your life depends on it, because it does, waiting. Then there's the language you use, especially the phrase, I can't. Those two words have destroyed more dreams than failure ever could, waiting. Every time you say, I can't, you shrink your vision. You train your mind to see limits instead of possibilities. Replace I can't with how can I. Shift from defeat to discovery. Words matter. Speak power, not poison. Finally, stop chasing shortcuts, waiting. Success that comes too easily often disappears just as quickly. The long road may not be glamorous, waiting. But it builds something more valuable than a quick win. It builds character, and character is what sustains success when challenges come, waiting. Don't trade what you want most for what you want now. Build slow, build strong, and build to last, waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, because it doesn't exist. If you're sitting around hoping that one day the clouds will part, the sun will shine just right, waiting, and the wind will blow in your favor, you're going to be waiting a long time. Success doesn't respond to ideal conditions. It responds to movement, to decision, waiting, to courage. The soil doesn't ask if the weather is perfect. It simply responds when the seed is planted. Likewise, life responds when you start, waiting, not when you're ready. Many people delay their dreams, saying, waiting. Once I get a little more experience, once I have more money, once I feel confident. But here's the truth, waiting. Confidence doesn't come before the action. It comes after. You don't need all the answers to take the first step. The act of moving forward, even clumsily, waiting, creates clarity. The motion builds momentum. You can steer a moving car, but you can't steer one that's parked. Success loves speed, waiting. It loves those who move even when they're uncertain, waiting. The people who win in life are not the ones who waited. They're the ones who dared to begin while others were still hesitating, waiting. Every day you wait is a day you lose. The clock is ticking whether you're acting or not, so you might as well be moving. The perfect time is a myth, waiting. The right time is when you decide. When you say, enough waiting, I'm going to start with what I have and grow along the way. That's when doors open, waiting. The world makes room for those bold enough to step forward, not for those hiding behind excuses masked as patience. So plant the seed now, waiting. Don't wait for the weather to change. Water it daily with effort, belief, and discipline. And one day, waiting, you'll be thankful you didn't wait for perfect conditions, because success never needed perfection. It only needed you to begin, waiting. Stop spending time with negative people, because your environment is shaping you whether you realize it or not. Every conversation, every complaint, waiting. Every low standard joke, these things are not harmless. They're seeds. And if you stay in the wrong soil long enough, waiting, you begin to adopt the very patterns you once rejected. Just like a rotten apple spoils the barrel, one consistently negative person can corrupt your perspective, waiting, steal your motivation, and drain your energy. You see, people are like elevators. They either lift you up or bring you down, waiting. And you've got to be conscious about which direction you're allowing others to take you. If you spend your time with complainers, doubters, and excuse makers, waiting, you'll start seeing the world through their lens. And it's hard to soar when you're anchored to those who never even try to fly, waiting. Success demands that you surround yourself with people who remind you of your potential, not your limitations. Negative energy is sneaky, waiting. It often hides behind sarcasm, humor, or just being realistic. But make no mistake, it's contagious. You'll find yourself thinking smaller, hesitating more, waiting, and settling faster when you're around those who've made quitting a lifestyle. You can't afford that. Not if you want your life to mean something, waiting. Not if you want to grow into the person you were meant to be. So make the hard choice. Distance doesn't mean hate. It means clarity, waiting. Create space from those who drain you and move closer to those who challenge you, stretch you, and call you higher. Build a circle where ambition is normal, waiting. Gratitude is daily and growth is expected. Because the people you walk with will eventually decide the place you arrive. If you want to go higher, waiting, don't cling to anchors. Cut the ropes and rise, waiting. Stop saying, I can't. Because every time you do, you're programming your mind to retreat instead of rise. Those two little words might seem harmless, waiting, but they carry massive consequences. I can't is a command to your subconscious to give up before you've even tried. It slams the door shut on possibility, waiting. And once the door is shut, no opportunity, no mentor, no book, and no motivation can get in. Because you locked it from the inside, waiting. Language is not just communication, it's creation. The words you speak shape the world you experience. When you say, waiting, I can't lose weight, or I can't speak in public, or I can't start a business. What you're really saying is, I'm unwilling to try, waiting, to grow or to be uncomfortable. But here's the truth. It's not that you can't, it's that you won't. And that shift in language is where power lies. Waiting. I can't is an escape. I won't is a choice. Waiting. Success belongs to the people who replace I can't with how can I? Instead of closing the door, they open the mind. They ask better questions. Waiting. They invite solutions. That shift may seem small, but it's the difference between a defeated life and a developing one. Waiting. When you switch from a statement to a question, you force your mind to get creative. And where there's creativity, there's growth. Waiting. The words you say in private shape the life you live in public, so speak carefully. Speak intentionally. Waiting. Talk like someone who believes their future depends on it, because it does. If you say, I can't, long enough, waiting, you'll start building a life that proves you right. But if you say, I will figure it out, life will eventually rise to meet you, waiting. So next time your instinct is to say, I can't, stop yourself and say something better, because you're not limited by your ability, waiting. You're limited by your language. Change the words, and you'll change the world around you, waiting. Stop chasing shortcuts, because every shortcut comes with a hidden cost. In a world obsessed with speed and instant gratification, waiting. It's tempting to look for the quickest road to wealth, success, or recognition. But let me tell you something timeless: sees success that comes easy rarely lasts. Waiting. What's built overnight is usually lost just as fast when you chase convenience. Waiting. You often bypass the very process that gives success its meaning, and more importantly, its staying power. The process, the grind, waiting, the struggle. These are not inconveniences, they are ingredients. They shape you, discipline you, test your character. Waiting. The reason a shortcut is so dangerous is because it delivers the result without the readiness. You might get the thing, but you won't become the person. Waiting. And when life applies pressure, as it always does, you won't have the strength to hold it. Waiting. There's a reason buildings are tested before they're open to the public. You're no different. Real success is built brick by brick, habit by habit. Waiting. Day by day, it's slow, it's sometimes boring, but it's solid. And in a world full of flash and hype, substance will always outlast style. Waiting. You can cheat a system, maybe. You can copy a trend, possibly. But you can't shortcut growth. That's earned. That's sweat. That's hours nobody sees. Waiting. And that's exactly what makes it so valuable. There's an old saying, easy come, easy go. And the older you get, the more you realize how true it is. Waiting. So don't envy the one who got there fast. Ask how long they'll stay. Because success isn't about arriving quickly. It's about staying strong, lasting long, waiting, and being proud of how you got there. So commit to the long road. Build slow, build right, and build deep, waiting. When the storms come, and they will, you'll still be standing while the shortcut seekers are nowhere to be found, waiting. Stop avoiding discipline, because while discipline may feel like pain in the short term, the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. Most people run from structure, waiting, from routine, from self-control, thinking they're preserving freedom. But freedom without discipline is an illusion. True freedom comes through discipline, waiting. It's the ability to live how you want because you've done what others wouldn't. If you avoid discipline today, you pay the price tomorrow with interest, waiting. Discipline is the great separator. It's what stands between average and exceptional, between desire and achievement, waiting. It's waking up early when it's easier to sleep in, saying no when it's easier to give in, pushing through when it's easier to quit. It's not always fun, waiting. It's rarely comfortable, but it's always worth it. And here's the catch. If you don't suffer a little doing the thing that builds you, waiting, you'll suffer a lot from the regret of not becoming who you could have been. See, regret is silent. It doesn't yell at you. It whispers, waiting. It shows up in those quiet moments when you're alone with your thoughts, wondering what could have been if you had just followed through, waiting. If you had just stuck with it. Discipline may cost you comfort now, but regret will cost you peace for years. That's not a fair trade. The good news, waiting. Discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Start small. One decision, one commitment, one follow through. Build that trust with yourself, waiting. Because when you learn to keep promises to yourself, your confidence grows, and confidence fuels everything else. A disciplined life is not a restricted life, waiting. It's a directed life, and that direction leads to results. So don't run from discipline. Embrace it. Invite it. Make it your ally, not your enemy, waiting. Because while others are waiting for motivation, you'll already be moving, powered by discipline, guided by purpose, and free from regret, waiting. Stop making excuses, because excuses are the language of the unsuccessful. Every time you make one, you trade progress for comfort. Excuses sound reasonable, waiting. They even sound smart, but they never produce results, waiting. I didn't have time. I was too tired. It's not the right season. These are all just polished ways of saying, waiting. I wasn't committed enough. You see, excuses let you off the hook today, but they hang you later when the results never come, waiting. Excuses are like nails. One or two may not seem like much, but keep hammering them in, and soon you've built a prison, waiting. A structure where you're stuck in the same habits, same outcomes, same life. They become a self-made cage where opportunity knocks, waiting. But you can't open the door because you've convinced yourself it's someone else's fault you're locked inside. The danger is excuses often feel justified. Waiting. Life gets hard. Circumstances get messy. But success doesn't care about your reasons. It only responds to your results. Waiting. The winners in life face the same problems. The difference is they look in the mirror and say, it's on me. No blaming, no finger pointing. Just ownership, waiting. And ownership is where transformation begins. Here's the truth. Either you have an excuse or you have a result. You never have both, waiting. If you're tired of being stuck, stop explaining why you can't and start doing what you must. Excuses protect your ego but destroy your potential, waiting. Growth comes when you choose responsibility over rationalization. So tear down the house you built with excuses. One board at a time, replace it with action, waiting. With courage, with follow through. Because when you stop making excuses, you start making progress. And that's when life gets interesting, waiting. Stop consuming more than you create, because consumption might entertain you, but creation is what empowers you. We live in a world where it's easy to scroll, waiting. Binge and watch others live their lives. But here's the true thing, those who only consume will always live at the mercy of those who produce. The shows you watch, just keep waiting. The apps you use, the ideas you quote, they all came from someone who chose to create instead of just consume. And if you want to lead, to grow, waiting. To succeed, you have to make that same choice. Consumption is easy. It gives you the illusion of progress while keeping you in the same place, waiting. But creation requires thought effort. It builds muscle. When you create, whether it's a business, a message, a plan, waiting, or a new habit, you take control. You shift from reacting to designing. And that's where the power is, waiting. That's when you start shaping your future instead of watching others shape theirs. If all you do is take in information, eventually it clogs your thinking, waiting. Become full of ideas but empty on results. Reading another book or watching another video won't change your life unless you do something with it. Apply it, teach it, build something. You were meant to be a reservoir. You were meant to be a river flowing, contributing, creating, waiting. The people who rise to the top aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who use what they know. They produce, they publish, they act, waiting. They turn thoughts into things. And while others are busy watching, they're busy building. So the question becomes, are you building anything, waiting, or just watching someone else build their dream? So consume less, create more. Don't just admire great work. Do your own, waiting. Don't just be a fan of excellence. Be a source of it. Because producers don't just influence the world, they shape it, waiting. And you have the power to be one of them. Stop fearing failure, because failure is not your enemy. It's your teacher. Somewhere along the line, waiting, we were taught to avoid failure at all costs, to play it safe, to stay within the lines. But let me tell you, waiting, the people who succeed at the highest levels are the ones who failed the most. Not because they were careless, but because they were committed, waiting. Committed enough to try, to risk, and to fall forward again and again. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process, waiting. It's the feedback loop that sharpens your strategy, strengthens your character, and humbles your ego. Every setback has a seed of instruction, waiting. But only those brave enough to face it will ever learn the lesson. You don't grow through perfection. You grow through pressure, waiting. And nothing applies pressure quite like a good, honest failure. See, fear of failure doesn't protect you. It paralyzes you, waiting. It stops you from taking the very steps that would build your future. The truth is, most people don't fail because they tried and lost, waiting. They fail because they never started. They let fear win before the game even began. And if you let fear of failure run your life, waiting, you'll end up with a different kind of failure, one called regret. But here's the beautiful part, failure is temporary. It's a bruise, not a tattoo, waiting. You can recover. You can try adapt. This time smarter, stronger, more prepared. Success is built by those who keep moving through the losses, waiting, who refuse to quit when it hurts, and who understand that falling down is just part of the climb. So don't fear failure. Embrace it. Learn from it, waiting. Let it refine you, not define you, because quitting is the only true failure. Everything else is just progress in disguise.